Another day, another story. The Food and Drug Administration announced a Class 2 recall for more than 7,000 bottles of an antidepressant due to a chemical. The recall was initiated earlier this month on October 10. Duloxetine, reportedly known under brands like Cymbalta, is used to treat mental health disorders like anxiety and depression, among other conditions, according to the Cleveland Clinic. The product was distributed across the country and manufactured by Tower Pharmaceutical Europe. Welcome to Tabo Eminent Channel. The agency noted the medication had the presence of nitrosamine drug substance impurity, N-nitroso-duloxetine. Per the FDA, nitrosamine impurities may increase the risk of cancer if people are exposed to them above acceptable levels and over long periods of time. However, it added, a person taking a drug that contains nitrosamines at or below the acceptable daily intake limits every day for 70 years is not expected to have an increased risk of cancer. Here's what we know about the recall. How many bottles were recalled? According to the notice, 7,107 bottles were recalled, delayed-release capsules 500-count bottles included. It was classified as Class 2, meaning exposure could trigger temporary or medically reversible adverse health consequences, the FDA said. Which lot of the medication is being recalled? According to the FDA, the recalled lot was number 220,128, expiring December 2024. What should you do if your medication is recalled? Officials urge those who may have medications with potential nitrosamine to stop taking them. Patients should talk to their healthcare professionals about concerns and other treatment options, the FDA's website says. What are nitrosamines? Nitrosamines are found in water, cured and grilled meats, dairy products and vegetables, according to the FDA. While nearly everyone is exposed to trace amounts of nitrosamines, studies link the contaminants to increased cancer risk if people are exposed to large amounts over long periods of time. More than 12 million bottles of blood pressure-lowering drugs such as valsartan and losartan have been removed from the market since 2018 because they contained nitrosamines. The same family of contaminants triggered past recalls of the heartburn drug Zantac, the diabetes drug metformin and the smoking cessation medication Chantix. The story has been updated to fix a misspelling. The FDA has recently issued a recall for approximately 7,000 bottles of Duloxetine Delayed-Release Capsules after tests revealed they contained levels of a cancer-causing chemical, N-nitroso-duloxetine, above the acceptable limit. This chemical belongs to the nitrosamine family, which, when present in higher concentrations over prolonged exposure, can increase the risk of cancer. The medication, typically prescribed for depression, anxiety, and nerve pain, was voluntarily recalled by Tower Pharmaceutical Europe. The recall, initiated on October 10, 2024, was classified as Class 2, indicating that the risk of serious health issues is low but still concerning. The FDA is continuing its investigation to identify the source of the contamination. Patients currently using duloxetine are advised not to abruptly stop taking the medication but to consult with their healthcare providers for guidance on safe alternatives or next steps. It's important to stay informed about any further updates regarding this recall. The recall of Duloxetine Delayed-Release Capsules highlights growing concerns over the presence of nitrosamine impurities in medications. Nitrosamines, commonly found in various foods and water at low levels, can become dangerous when present in higher concentrations. The specific chemical in this case, N-nitroso-duloxetine, was detected at levels that exceed the FDA's safety guidelines, sparking the recall of over 7,000 bottles. Duloxetine, also known by its brand name Cymbalta, is used to treat conditions like major depressive disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, and chronic pain, such as fibromyalgia and diabetic neuropathy. The recall was initiated by Tower Pharmaceutical Europe on October 10, 2024, and classified as a Class 2 recall. This classification suggests that while exposure to the product could lead to temporary or medically reversible health problems, the likelihood of severe adverse health effects is remote. The FDA emphasized that nitrosamine impurities can arise from various factors, including the drug's manufacturing process, chemical structure, and even packaging conditions. Although the immediate health risk is not considered high, the recall has raised concerns among patients. The FDA has urged people not to stop taking their medications without first consulting their healthcare providers to avoid any potential risks from abrupt discontinuation. The FDA continues to investigate the source of the contamination, working to prevent future instances. Patients using the affected duloxetine products should discuss alternative treatments with their doctors to ensure ongoing safety. The recent recall of over 7,000 bottles of Duloxetine Delayed-Release Capsules, primarily used to treat depression and anxiety, has raised significant public health concerns. This recall was triggered due to the detection of N-nitroso-duloxetine, a nitrosamine compound that is considered potentially cancer-causing when present at high levels. The impurity was found during routine testing, and the concentration exceeded the FDA's acceptable limits, which led to the voluntary recall by Tower Pharmaceutical Europe in early October 2024. The recall falls under a Class 2 designation, which suggests that while the likelihood of serious harm is low, there is still a possibility of reversible adverse health effects. Nitrosamines, which can form during the drug's manufacturing process or under certain storage conditions, have been linked to cancer risk over prolonged exposure. The FDA continues its investigation into the exact cause of the contamination in this case and is actively working with the manufacturer to address the issue. This event is part of a broader trend where nitrosamine impurities have been detected in various drugs, prompting recalls across the pharmaceutical industry. Over the last few years, several other widely used drugs, including blood pressure medications, have faced similar recalls due to nitrosamine contamination. This has spurred a deeper investigation into the potential causes, with the FDA setting stricter guidelines and testing procedures for pharmaceutical companies. Patients are advised to contact their healthcare providers rather than stopping the medication on their own. Healthcare professionals can suggest alternative treatments or continue monitoring as the FDA works to mitigate risks associated with these impurities. What kind of recall is this? The FDA is calling this a Class 2 recall. That is considered a situation in which use of or exposure to a violative product may cause temporary or medically reversible adverse health consequences, or where the probability of serious adverse health consequences is remote, according to the FDA. What should you do if you have pills that have been recalled? The FDA recommends on its website contacting your pharmacy to confirm if your medicine is indeed part of a recall. If it was, you can speak to your pharmacist to figure out what to do and whether you should look for an alternative medication. The FDA encourages patients to talk to their healthcare professional if they have questions about their medicine, as the risks of stopping their medicine may outweigh the potential risk of exposure to nitrosamines. The FDA and the international scientific community do not expect nitrosamines to cause harm when ingested at low levels, the agency says. Thanks for watching. Request you to subscribe the channel.